Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your girl Sherelle and I am back with another review. And like I told y'all before, I would be back with a review for The Have and the Have-Nots Season 7, Episode 11 and 12. And it is called Power of Authority in One Way or Another. And if you're tuning in my channel for the very first time, be sure to subscribe. Hit that notification button so it lets you know when I have new videos uploaded. Hit the like down below and comment down below about tonight's episode. So y'all, that was long. It was 2 hours, but you know I love the Have and the Have-Nots. And y'all, this is my very first review of the Have-Nots, because all the other seasons, season 1 through 6, I just sat back and watched and never reviewed it. So this is new for me, reviewing it, but I love my Tyler Perry shows. Y'all already see the titles, so let's get into it. So we open up with Catherine, aka gangster rich white chick. That's what I call her, the gangster rich white chick. And Wyatt at the jail. And of course, y'all know from last episode, episode 10, you know, Wyatt cut his wrist, slit his wrist in front of Catherine and everything. Now we're here, we open up with them at the jail, and Catherine is screaming for the guards to come and help Wyatt. Now, why are they pulling him out of the cell like that? Oh, Tyler, come on. You know, Catherine's crying, going crazy, and, you know, they just telling her to shut up. Can't y'all see she's a mother still? I know she's a prisoner, but she's still a mother, and she still could care for her child. Now, come on now, y'all. Have some compassion and empathy for her. I know she was talking a lot of trash to y'all. I like Catherine. Truth be told, let's get into it. I'm going to tell y'all who my favorite. Catherine, David. I like Candy's evilness, but I also want to see Candy turn good. So if you're wondering who my favorites, it would be Jeffrey, Madison, Catherine, Candy, David, and that's about it. Oh, and I love the president-elect, because he's super fine, you know, his little, he got it going on, but I want to see him and Candace together. Now, Tyler, I know if you ever come across this video, here's my whole plot for Candace and the president-elect. Why can't they get together and do a whole takeover? We see them rise together, and we see the other Have and the Have-Nots fall. Wouldn't that be something? Candace is the First Lady of the United States, and Charles is the president, and we just seeing all the crazy stuff that they're doing behind closed doors to get people, because I think Candace would fit right in the whole political world. Yeah, she got a little bit of evilness. But anywho, that's just my thought. Y'all don't gotta agree with me. So let's move past that. With Catherine, they take Wyatt out, take him to the hospital. So we move on to Candace, aka Candace, Miss Candy. Her and Benny are back at the house, and of course, y'all know last episode, Benny was so adamant about finding out what was wrong with Hannah's boyfriend. So he basically finds out and put it all together. That's Candace's daddy. That's Hannah's baby daddy. And you know, Candace is not trying to tell Benny anything because she promised Hannah she wouldn't say anything, and she wasn't. She's just like, leave it alone. And he goes to find answers. Hannah's not at the house. They walking through the house. He just also mad, demanding answers, telling Candace that's your father. Look at all the numbers that add up, because of course, last episode he was on the computer typing in information about the dude, because Benny wanted to know why my mother also head over heels for this dude, and now all of a sudden she ain't head over heels for him anymore. She don't want to see him or nothing like that. She told him to get out. So he put it all together, did his little research. Kudos for you, Benny. You just ain't good looks. You just all good looks. You lucked up on that for the first time, being able to put something like that together all by yourself. So Benny is the fine, not so bright guy, but he can kick some behind, because he sure kicked Jim behind. But anywho, let's get past that. So, yeah. Benny goes to find answers. So he's mad. He's trying to find much information he can about Derek. He wants to find information about Derek. He gonna find information. He's determined. He ain't gonna let it go. He ain't gonna be like Keisha Cole and let it go. Okay? He ain't gonna LIG let it go. Benny's going to be. He wants them answers. He wants to know, and he also want to kick Derek behind. We're gonna see if they're gonna rumble. So we go to Oliver. And I'm going to get into Oliver. We go to Oliver, and he goes and tell Landon, I have some information. Just playing with Landon. And Landon's like, get the heck out of my office. I don't want to see you. Stop playing with me. I ain't got time for you and your shenanigans. Like, look. Excuse me, Landon. Landon like, no, I'm not having it. And he's just basically is like, well, I got information about Candace Young that you might want to hear. And he is like, playing with Landon, and Landon's not here with the mess. Okay, so then he finally tells Landon that Candace buy a ticket to New York, meaning she's going to New York. She's getting out of Savannah. And he's basically like, what? Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm going to spend this. And Oliver is like, well, you need to let this go with Candace or whatever. This, that, and the fourth. Oliver is plotting, But hopefully Landon is super smart like we feel like he is. And he can spin this. So he tells Oliver to get out of his office. And then he proceeds to calling a lady to ask her a favor to put Candace on the no-flight zone so he can, I guess, keep her safe, hold her up so he can find out how he could get her and Charles back together, and so forth and on. So the lady's like, okay, I'll put her on the no-flight zone and this, that, and the fourth, and, we're going to move past that. So we go to Mitch and his uncle down at the bar. And his uncle is asking Mitch, like, I want to know how the black kid is able to pay me. And Mitch like, don't worry about it. It ain't nothing. He paid you. He gave you your money. It don't matter where he got the money from as long as he paid you. Bottom line, he owes you no more. So Mitch's uncle gets a call from someone telling them that Mama Rose, aka the second rich mafia gangster white lady, I like Mama Rose too. Yeah, I forgot to say I like Mama Rose, and I like Mitch. Mitch is a good friend. Mitch is the type of friend that you need on your team, because even though he don't want to be in the mafia family and all of that type of stuff, because he know what comes on all along about that, but if he was, he would be something, because he knows how to get it done. Okay, because he helped Benny, and he basically told Jim, let it go. Okay, I did this for you, you're gonna do this for me. That's right, Mitch. So they leave. Mitch uncle leaves, and they go to get Mama Rose out of jail. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. Mama Rose in jail. Hey, Mama Rose. Hey, Catherine, aka Cat, aka Rose. I like them. It tickles me how they are, because they just, Mama Rose is this gangster Italian woman who runs the family, this super powerful matriarch, like, that don't play no games. Like, nothing doesn't get done until she say it. If she say get it done, you better get it done, and it ain't gonna be no questions asked. Catherine just has a side to her, like, don't play with me. Like, she goes off, she is a mama lioness, what Catherine is, because don't mess with her kids. No matter how much they F up, you don't mess with her kids. She don't care about Jim. Like, she's cool with Hannah. I can see that Catherine has a good heart. She loves her kids, but she probably made some mistakes giving them too much and allowing certain things to happen. And her first wrong mistake was ever marrying Jim, because, so, hey, Catherine. I'm just looking like, I like Catherine. She's super gangster, Mama Rose. So we move on to Jeffrey and Madison. Apparently they are drunk. Walking in drunk, and they came in from after dinner, and they come in on David. And I think David feels awkward because he caught them having sex. But, I mean, what parent wouldn't feel awkward coming in on their kid having sex? Whether it was a father coming in on his daughter, whether it's a mother coming in on her son, whether it's a father coming, it doesn't matter. When it's always awkward. It's awkward for us kids to walk in on our parents and see y'all doing it. I know that's the reason why we may be here, but it's awkward, and we just, no kid wants to see their parents getting it on. No parent wants to see, no matter how old their kid are, they wants to see them getting it on. And David, LIG, let it go. You're going to have to get past it at some point. You accept him because he's gay. What'd you think? Him and Madison just in the room just playing patty cake or something? No, they grown men. They have needs. They have, okay, you walked in on him with his legs to the moon, but what you think you was gonna walk in? Well, next time you come in, knocking on the door, because him and Maddie is in there. And Madison could kind of feel like David feels funny about catching them, because he doesn't want to look at them. He's leaving out, so he doesn't come into. But David, eventually we gonna pray that you get over it. Get over it. So then we goes to Oliver. Back to Oliver again. And Oliver gets a call, or he calls one of his goons that is apparently spying on Candace to find out her every mood. He pays one of his goons to spy on Candace and get all information to find out her every mood. I guess for whatever reason, we gonna get into it. For whatever reason. And he's basically running it down, everything she's doing. And he's telling Oliver all this information about Veronica Harrington, David Harrington, Jim Cryer, Catherine Cryer, Wyatt, and everybody. He's just spilling the beans all to Oliver. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So, yeah. So now we're going to skirt past that. So while Oliver's on the phone, guess who walks up on him? Landon. Landon's like, who you talking to? And he's just like, oh, I ain't talking to nobody. He said, let me let you know something. I'm watching you. I know more about you than you think I know about you. And when it all blows over, I'm gonna get you. And I believe it. I believe we haven't seen that other side to Landon, but I believe he has it. The side that a sense of him has power. People owe him favors, and him getting a job with the president is going to gain him even more president. And we see how the president takes to him. the president-elect, Charles. And with this whole situation with Candace, how he was able just to swing it a little bit back from that whole situation says a lot, speaks volumes about Landon. And I believe he's finding out what he needs to find out about Oliver, and he's gonna get him. You watch and see. Now we go to Hannah. Hannah comes down to the bar, Mitch family bar, asking how his family is going to protect Benny and Candace from Jim Cryer. Okay? Holy Hannah comes down there to find out what they gonna do. Hannah, have you lost your mind? And he's basically like, Miss Hannah, you ain't supposed to be in here. Like, what you doing here? You know where you at? You need to go. Hannah, you better leave. We gonna get into that too. So Hannah's like, I ain't going nowhere because I want to talk to your family. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to have me a beer. Hannah? You in bars and you having beers? Oh, you real mad. You mad. You so mad to the point where you said, Lord, Satan has won this one. I'm going to have me a beer. And I'm mad with these kids. These kids done got on my last nerve. So I got to go revert back to some things I know. Yes, Lord. Ay, Hannah. Please don't do that. Please, Tyler. So, guess what Mitch does? He calls Benny. Lets Benny know, and Candace, that your mother down here at the bar, and she wants to find out how you got that money. She wants to talk to my family. And he's like, what? So he tells Candace, and now Candace and Benny are on their way to the bar. And let me say this. I think Hannah done lost her everlasting mind to talk about that. And Mitch is trying to warn her. Hannah, you cannot come up in somebody's establishment and think that you just gonna get and demand answers from a mafia family. Hannah, are you all right? Clearly you're not. I understand they say put on the whole armor of God, but Hannah, who do you think you are? Calm all that down. So we're gonna skirt past that. So she's sitting waiting. We'll get past that. And then we go to this scene with these fools at a restaurant. Apparently they work for Catherine Cryer. I don't remember their name. But they sitting up in the restaurant plotting on how to steal $5 million from Catherine. Okay? And they're on the phone with Catherine's bank and the bank manager, Marty. And they waiting for Marty to call back Marty for whatever thing they want. So they plotting to take Catherine money, steal some money from her, manage her account, because apparently they was managing her account. I guess they're a money management accounting firm where they manage money. And see, that's why you can't be trusting these money management accounting firms, because you run into people like this who trying to steal from you. You see what I'm saying? Look how they plotting on this woman. She in jail at her lowest, okay? And they plotting to steal her, to rob from her. See, that's why she put Hannah in charge of her money, because she don't trust nobody. She don't even trust her money management managers. She don't trust her husband. She don't trust her kids. She don't trust nobody around her except for Hannah. And that says a lot about the people that are around her. To the point where she would sign her money off to Hannah and not her husband, and not to her management company who manages her money, because she knew she couldn't trust them. Because look at what they doing now. Yeah. But we're going to get back into that. So we move to Justin, who's at his apartment, wallowing in his sadness because he can't have Jeffrey. And Veronica done did so much stuff to him, done had him raped, done had him beat down and everything. So he's at his lowest. And in walks his brother. I guess this is his older brother. And he's like, Mom is saying that, for me to come here and check on you because you got some things going on. And he's looking at the pictures on the wall of Jeffrey. And he's like, are you messing with guys again? He's like, I thought we beat that out of you. Like, how you gonna beat him? Like, Justin, you getting beat up by your brothers because you gay? Like, his mother. Oh, poor Justin. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Even for the meanest people, I feel some sort of empathy and sympathy for them. Dang, he was getting beat up by his brothers because he was gay. And now his brother who feels, even as him as an adult, he's still trying to do the same thing because he a grown man. He entitled to do what he want. Who are you to come to his house? Justin, if you have a time to snap out on somebody, that would be the right time to snap out on your brother and throw him out of your house, because he came in there like it was his house and he paid rent. Okay, I would have threw him out. My siblings know better than that. So we're gonna move past that. So we go to a Veronica who's at her house and she's drinking and reminiscing on how David took her to wave in the water. He waved in the water. Where David drowned her in that pool. So she's looking like that's where he did it. And she's drinking and in her crazy mode of Veronica-ness, reminiscing and all this other stuff, acting a fool, just on some crazy nut stuff where I feel like, look, David and them need to put her back in the nut house. Where they need to put her in the nut house. And she sees one of her goons in her pool and she looking like, what in the world? Look at me. Look at me. Her goon is in the pool. And her goon tells her, get in the pool. Let's do it in the pool. And she's like, get out of my pool before I electrocute your behind. Before I throw a hairdryer in here and electrocute you. And he's like, all right, I'm going to get out. Because he knows she'll do it. Because she that crazy. So he gets out of the pool and he starts running it down where he saw Jeffrey. He saw Jeffrey out having dinner with Madison, apparently, because they came in the house drunk. And, he's basically like, get on your knees and give him a D session. And Veronica like, no, you get on your knees and you got 5 seconds to show me why you should be coming in my house. Oh, Veronica, you a certified whore, huh? You screwing everybody. And she said, where's that boy I told to come back? You tell him when he comes back to get in my pool so the Clorox can clean him before he can get in my bed. And he proceeds to getting on his knees. He's like, okay, and gets on his knees and giving Veronica a session. She's like, all right, come on upstairs. Come on. Give me something I can feel, and let me give you something you can feel. And on to the next scene, because I ain't going to dwell on Veronica being a certified whore. Certified Jezebel. I was just like, oh my Lord. David. Like, despite David sleeping with Catherine and those other 3 women, I believe he was a good man to Veronica. I really do. Veronica pushed him in Maggie's arms. You pushed Erica into his arms because you set the whole thing up with Candy. And I'm just looking like, she is driving David crazy with all her craziness. David, you probably was better off with Erica, but she handled that because she set Erica in you on fire. Anywho, we're gonna get past that. So we go to Benny and Candy. They arrive at when they arrive. They arrive at the bar where Hannah is, and they're trying to get her to leave. She don't want to leave. She says she ain't going nowhere until she get them answers, and they're begging her mama, trying to tell her, look, you know where you at, you need to get up and get out and let's go. Hannah, being stubborn as she is, she ain't get up and she ain't going nowhere. Oh, she gonna stay and she want to get her answers. And on top of that, she done had her bed, and that bed done got her feeling some type of way. So, you know, she done, yeah. But then we go on to Jim, who is at the hospital, and he has a visitor who comes in. Okay. And Jim is being Jim. He's like, oh, finally you're here. Take out the trash. Being Jim, nasty, evil, you know, all you can think about. He's a nasty, narcissistic type of person. He's a narcissist. And lo and behold, we find out that that's Celine's son, aka that's Jim's son. And guess what his name is? Jimmy Jr. And he tells him, look, get the hell out of my room. I don't care about you. I don't care about you at all. I don't care about you and your mother. Oh, really, Jim? And then he pulls out a gun on Jim. Now you're about to beg for your life. He pulls out a gun on Jim and it goes off. Now, we're going to move on to the next scene, scene 12, one way or another. Okay, so we go back where we left off, where Jim is at the hospital with his son. And now Jim is begging for his life. Okay, he's scared because Jimmy Jr. done pulled out a gun on him the same way Wyatt pulled a gun out on him and actually shot him. Yeah. And he's like, you know, tell me why I shouldn't kill you because I'm your father. Now he's calling him son and everything, trying to get him, you know, from killing him, you know, trying to soothe him over to not to kill him or whatever. So the boy, Jimmy, he's like, well, tell me how you met my mother. Did you even love my mother? And Jim says, yes, I did love her in the beginning. You know, he said, well, I thought she was just a hot piece of... And he's like, no, it wasn't like that. You know, I really, truly loved her. And he's like, you know, tell me why I shouldn't shoot you and kill you. And tell me why you are the way that you are. And Jim was like, I don't know why the way I am. And he runs it down. And he actually admits to being a nasty, evil, downright narcissist person. And he's like, oh, that was, Jimmy basically says to him, that was better than I thought. And here we find out, after Jim says all of that, he throws the gun at him. And guess what? It's a toy gun. Tyler, what was all that for? Oh, God. Only in Tyler world. I thought he was going to shoot Jim. I thought Jim was going to catch a bad break. I was, you know, he's just evil. I want all the evil people to go, but evil villains are what makes the show. But, you know, I just want Jim to get theirs. I want Catherine to get out of jail, Jim to get his, Veronica to get hers, those, the general, the eternal, the president boy to get it for what he did to Candace. And I hope Charles find out, you know, Charles find out everything that's going on before they actually get Candace. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So, yeah. But on to that. Move to the next scene. We go to Catherine, who is at the jail. And she's calling for the guards, and the other women, one woman is not having no sympathy for her, tells her, look, shut up, okay, I don't want to hear you. And the other girl's like, look, didn't you just see what happened with her son? Like, let her go. And then Mama Rose, who is sitting in the cell in a comfortable reclining chair, and all the women start arguing, she was like, shut up. Everybody gets quiet. Mama Rose has spoken. Her and Catherine going back and forth, because Catherine is Catherine and being Catherine, not realizing who she is. I don't think she ever met Mama Rose, but she's heard of Mama Rose and heard of Jim's dealing with Mama Rose, okay? And Mama Rose, like, Catherine is being standoffish with Mama Rose. Don't even know that this is Mama Rose, who your husband been doing business with and dealings and been saving y'all, okay? So you're being short with it, all right? So Mama Rose shuts everything down. And she calls for the guard, okay? We see you, Mama Rose. We see how gangster you is. And in comes the guard, pacifying and being at her beck and call. Mama Rose, you don't have to stay here. You can go. She said, no, I want to stay. So I'm thinking, Mama Rose, did you get arrested just so you can see Catherine crying in jail? And, oh, okay. But anywho, Catherine sees how the guard, she's trying to ask the guard when he comes in about his son, and he tells her to shut up and starts catering to Mama Rose and everything. And Catherine's like, well, who this woman is that this guard is catering to her? She's sitting in a cell all by herself, and she got a good reclining chair that nobody got. And she's like, why didn't you wear orange? She said, because I told them orange is not my color. Unlike you, I am not going to wear no orange. Haven't you heard who I am? All high VIP rolling up the BIG. Okay? It's Mama Rose we talking about. Gang, y'all know who keeping it gangsta. Mama Rose come through, keeping it gangsta. Yeah, Mama Rose is gangsta. And so is Catherine, but, not in this situation. Mama Rose has showed you that she rolls above you, Catherine. And you might want to get on her good side and see how she can help you. Because she got the bones of Jennifer Salas. Literally. She got a corpse. She threw one. She took care of all that for you. You remember when you shot at Catherine? And you was about to shoot Veronica. Now that was some gangster, man. I was just looking like, oh, okay, Catherine, I see you. She's like, I'm gonna give you one more time. Not to give Wyatt his inheritance. Jennifer, tread lightly. Jennifer ain't want to tread lightly. So Catherine put a couple of holes in her and sent her on to glory. Yeah. May Jennifer Salas rest in peace. But on to the next. So Catherine, who is looking at Mama Rose now, side-eyed, like, who is this woman? They get to talking. And she tells her, I'm Mama Rose. Rose Malone? Yes. And I screwed your husband. She said, well, I'm sorry about that. Her demeanor changes. Her aura changes. And they get to talking, and she lets her know, your son Wyatt stabbed my son. And I have a problem with that. And Catherine's like, I thought we handled that. Clearly, it wasn't handled because Mama Rose is dissatisfied. Okay? And maybe that's the reason why she got arrested and locked up. So she can come in here and talk to you. And tell you a thing or two, Catherine. And mess with you. Okay. So we're going to move past that. So we go to Wyatt is at the hospital. And ain't nothing wrong with Wyatt. He's practically fine. Now, how he go from bleeding out to sitting in the hospital bed, hitting that button, asking for more and more medication. And the nurse is frustrated. She's like, look, you are a prisoner. Stop ringing this bell. I'm going to treat you exactly like you are, a prisoner. You know, we done banded you up and we waiting for you to return back to jail. Because you working my nerves. And in walks in his brother Jimmy, Jim's son, Celine's son. And he comes in there and they're going back and forth. And he was like, yeah, you're the bastard child. You're the half-breed. And he's just like, you know, he makes Wyatt feel some way. He said, you know, I'm kind of glad I wasn't raised by Jim. Otherwise, I would end up like you. He's like, I have a mother that loves me. And Wyatt feels some type of way and tells him to get out of his room. He's like, I think I will. So apparently we see that Jimmy, Celine's son, he a little thrown off too. And I think Jim was tickled when he threw the toy gun at him. When he told him to get out, he said, the balls of this boy. Like, he's like, he may be my son after all. Maybe. He is. You slept with Celine. Hello. Am I the only one that feels that Jim might have pushed himself on to Celine? And then pacified her afterwards? I don't know. Is Celine and Jim's situation another Me Too moment? I kind of got that when he was talking to Jimmy. But we'll see how that all happens and how that played out. Because he said Celine wasn't an easy lay. Like, she played hard to get. She played hard to get in the beginning, you know? So I'm just thinking, like, did you force yourself on Celine, Jim? Like, sexually assault her and, you know, to pacify her and everything else. She eventually, I don't know. But anywho, I digress. So we go to Jeffrey and Madison, who are back at the house. And these two are playing around, and Jeffrey talking about he want to go to Veronica's house and do it there. Are you crazy, Jeffrey? Veronica will have one of them goons come over there in a blink of an eye and shoot you and Madison. And Madison had to express that to him. And also Madison had to express to him, like, look, I think your dad seeing us, you know, getting it on, giving each other something we can feel, we made him a little bit uncomfortable. And Jeffrey doesn't think so. Well, apparently David will at some point let you know that he is probably uncomfortable. But David, like I said before, any parent walking in on their kid having sex is going to be comfortable. Any kid walking in on their parent is going to be uncomfortable. Like, I was playing with my daughter, pranking my daughter yesterday, singing Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion song WAP, and she was like, you're nasty. Little did she know I was pranking her, because I don't want her singing that song because it's an adult song, and she didn't like me singing that song because she's like, you're my mother. That's not supposed to come from you. Well, you're my child, and that's not supposed to be coming from you. Capiche? So you are not to sing Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B WAP. Same thing. No parent wants to see their child having sex. No child wants to see their parent having sex. I'm pretty sure if Jeffrey walked in on David and Erica, or David and Veronica, or David and Maggie, he would feel uncomfortable too. Like, ew, fish. You know? So that's just how I feel. But move past that. So we go to Veronica assistant and her boyfriend are at their apartment. And here we find out Hannah's baby daddy, Derek, is in cahoots with them on their scheme to plot and get Veronica for some money. And he's like, I thought you was out of the game, man. He was like, nah, I'm sick of Veronica always threatening me, making these, threats about what she gonna do, and I want to get her, and we really need to get her, and yada, yada, yada. So they're plotting. Like, I thought last year it was just them two who were Joanne the scammers that was just gonna plot Veronica. But lo and behold, we find out that Derek is the mastermind behind that and want to get at Veronica. So we're going to see how that plays out. So we're going to move on to the next. So we go back to the scammers, Catherine's money management team for her money. They go down to Marty's office, and Marty lets them know, Catherine Cryer left all her money and assets, everything, to her maid, aka her friend Hannah. And they're looking shocked and stunned. What are you gonna do now? Because they already done stole $5 million from her, I believe. $4 million, $5 million. So now, gotcha. You scamming sissy. You scamming. Scratch that. I don't want to apply that this. Oh gosh. I can't stand when people take from other people, scam like that. At a time when I know it's a show, but this happens in real life. You got entertainers and other rich people who have money management accounts, money management firms, and these people steal from them all the time. They trust you with their money and you gonna steal from them. That's not good business. So they mad and they scheming, they nervous because they already done moved some of Catherine's money, and now they feel like now we gotta either put it back or something. So we go to Veronica, move past that, we go to Veronica, and she getting screwed by one of her goons, and she laying in the bed like, oh my gosh, like, you are terrible. And apparently he ain't pleasing her. Apparently he's horrible in bed. And Veronica's like, oh, get off me. You are just so horrible. You got to be really, really horrible for a woman to just say, just get off of me. Like, she's just like, what is that little slimy thing? Talking about his man meat. Oh, my good. I felt embarrassed that she was talking to him like that. He's like, you know what? Somebody gonna kill your crazy, ignorant behind one day. And he was like, you better hope it's not me. She was like, well, hopefully, something she said, like, read him a good read. And she was like, I don't care. Get out of my house. You're horrible. Just get out. I was like, dang, a woman kicking you out because you horrible in bed? Oh my gosh. Have I ever done that to a man? No, I don't think I have. I think if the chemistry wasn't there before we get started, and I can't see what everything is like before, it wouldn't be no getting into it. Veronica, did you notice that he always had that size of a man meat? Did you forget? Or are your walls that blown out because you done slept with so many men on David? That he can't please you. His size ain't going to satisfy you, or maybe any other size. You done slept with Benny. You done slept with, what's the Spanish Latina guy? You done slept with this person, that person, all these other. Oh my God. That's why I said certified tramp. Okay. I ain't gonna judge though. Do you. Then we go back to the bar where Candace and Benny, Mitch, and Hannah is at. And in walks Candace goons and lift Hannah up and take her out of the bar. And she trying to fight them. Hannah, don't try to fight this. You already lost. They done picked you up like you was nothing and carried you out of there. Candace, I understand. No, I can't say I understand why she did it, but yeah, I do understand why she did it, because she ain't want Hannah talking to the Malones about how they got the money. Okay? And she was doing what Candace does, what's necessary for her at the end of the day. And Hannah ain't feeling that. Hannah is going to have some words for you, Candace, that you did her like that. But Hannah, you had no authority, and you shouldn't have had your behind there in the first place to begin with. You know, you're down there drinking beer, carrying on, demanding answers. That's not your place. That's not your place at all, Hannah. It's not. So we're going to move past that. So we go back to David and Jeffrey's house, and guess who shows up at David's house? Erica, his old boo friend, with a video of Erica telling David, like, you know, I always wanted to tell you what was going on. I always loved you because you were kind to me, and yada yada yada. And you know, I think it warmed David a little bit. Him seeing her again, her face, it kind of had him reminiscing. Now he's in his feelings. Now, lo and behold, we have Erica's friend who comes on to David. And he's like, you are Erica's friend. She was like, well, Erica should have never told me how good you were treating her. Well, I want you now for myself. That's what happens when you tell your girls how good of a man you have. Because then they want your man. And he was like, you a whore. She was like, but I'll give all that up for you, baby. So let's go upstairs and let me give you something you can feel. And David's just like, no. She's like, I will. She's basically saying, look, I will get on my knees and beg you to give me a chance. And he's just like, I ain't got time for this. I'm going back in my house. Thank you for bringing the video, but you're done. Girl, go on about your business. David wasn't here for her and her BS. Yeah, you were, David. Because Eric gave you something you could feel. I think you got to thank for it. I think you got to thank for her, because she kind of resembles Erica a little bit. Yeah, you want her. I seen the way you was looking at her. Just a little bit. She kind of resembled Erica a little bit. And, you know, Go on and get you a piece, because you ain't getting none at all, because Erica ain't coming back to give you any. So, go on and get it, David. I like David. I think he is just so handsome to me. He's just a handsome older gentleman. You know, he's classy, he's career orientated, and he loved Veronica. I could tell he loved Veronica, but she was just crazy, and David wasn't going for that. How she was acting, you know, he's always been strong and sexy to me, David. So I can see why a lot of women flock to him, even Veronica, because she still want him too. She do. So on to Oliver and his goon. Oliver Goon brings him. Didn't I tell you I was going to get into it? Oliver Goon comes in with some tea about Candace, and he also bringing Oliver some drugs to get high. So Oliver gets high. Yeah. I ain't talking about off no weed. I'm talking about off of that giggity yak. That white girl, that booger sugar. That's what it's called. But we find out the reason why he wants information on Candace, because his father is trying to run for president. So his father, from what I'm thinking, placed him near the president-elect to get dirt on him so he can bring the president-elect down. Oh, really, Oliver? See, that's why Landon is giving you hell all the way through. because he sees you for your works and not for your worth. And eventually he gonna find out what you doing and find out who your daddy really is and what your daddy really trying to do. So that he wants dirt on Candace, and he's telling Landon to leave the situation with Candace alone only because his father is trying to run for president. I guess up against Charles. But Charles is already a president-elect. So I guess after Charles have his 4 years, his father is going to try to run for him. But you better be careful, Oliver. Charles has a very dark side to him. And Landon and them together, not so good for you. No matter how much money Daddy got, because he is the president-elect of the free world, and whether he got 4 years in there, he gonna tear that White House up. And if you do something to Candace, you really gonna feel his wrath. Charles got a dark side. I wouldn't see him in action, but I wouldn't see him and Candace in action together. The dark side. Because I feel it'll be good. Not that I would do any of that, but it's just good for TV. So Tyler, if you're watching this, give us a little bit of that action. See Charles and Candace shake it up a little bit. So let's move past that. We go to David, who is peeping out his window, looking at Erica's friend in his fountain, dancing and doing all this other stuff and posing all sexually. And his security out here like, ma'am, you're embarrassing yourself. Please leave. And she's just doing all of this. Then comes down Maddie, and Maddie walks outside, and he's like, you got a woman out here in your fountain, and now you got Maddie out there like, ow, work. Maddie is just out there, Madison, he's out there encouraging her, and she's just out there dancing like, just trying to entice David, dancing in his fountain. See, David, didn't I tell you she got you? Her dancing in your fountain was all that it took. Because we're going to see in the next episode her in his bed. Madison had me hollering when he was like, yes, work it. Because she was working it. She was in her blue panty set, and come on, David seen what she was working with. And he was like, well, she do kind of remind me of Erica. And we know Erica ain't coming back. But anywho, we go to Benny. Let's skirt past that. That was too funny, though. We go to Benny, who calls Veronica and asks for Derek's address. And Veronica is playing with him as usual, telling him to come over. She done just screwed somebody, and now she's telling another guy to come on over. You Jezebel. Certified tramp, you. But yeah, and he's like, Veronica, you just gave me your address. She said, I know. Now bring 2 condoms and come on over here. He's like, man, I ain't got time for you. Benny don't want to hear that. So let's go past that. We go to Mama Rose boys, her goons, shows up. The mafia shows up at the police station, and they want to know who locked Mama Rose up. What police officer locked our mother up? And the police officer, he's being tough, trying to stand his ground. You stand your ground all right. Shots fired. You got one of the guys who put his hand on the camera. So we know it's about to go down. And the other one proceeds to shoot in the police officer, because the police officer was going back and forth with him, and he shoots him, and it goes off. And we're going to see what happens. Mama Rose, I think, wanted to be in that jail just so she could torment Catherine Cryer. But anyway, y'all, that's my review for Tyler Perry's The Have and the Have-Nots. Tell me what y'all think in the comments. Comment down below and tell me what y'all think about this coming back. You know, this two-hour event. I'm glad that they gave us 2 hours. Tyler, thank you for the 2 hours because it wasn't bad. It was good. It gave us a little bit of drama and a key. Like, so, yeah, that's my review for the have and the have-nots. Until next time, next Tuesday, because I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. See you, Shugs.